Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm hoping you guys are all having a fantastic day. So today's upload, as you could probably tell by the title of this video, is going to be about the potential for yet another large snowstorm. Yeah, I know. It's been 3 weeks in a row now, and they've all been on the weekends. We had one last week, we've had one this week. If you're watching this video across the Northeast, you're still feeling the brunt of the storm probably on Saturday, and a cold blast of air follows that. Temperatures won't be too awfully cold, but then again, we don't want that awful cold for snow production. We would want more of this kind of progressive pattern for snowstorms. And unfortunately, whoever you may be, we have been locked in a progressive pattern leading to several snowstorms, consecutive snowstorms with about a week of intervals. So now, yes, again, we're expecting another system. Is there a lot of uncertainty about this upcoming system? Obviously there is. I mean, there's loads of uncertainty. The reason I'm making this video is just to kind of give you an outlook of the week and possibly the snowstorm. I'll title this video something very conservative, possible large storm, or like something that's not too alarming, as this thing it has been shown in models for several days. Still a ton of uncertainty. So let's just look at this. Right now we're looking at that system. Oh yeah, by the way, before we do get into this, if you like watching this channel and you are a consistent viewer, thank you so much, and consider liking the video, as that really helps out this video and shows me that you enjoy it. If you are a new viewer, this is your first video you're watching, check out the channel, watch the video, see for yourself if this channel is worth a subscription. So let's look at this system right now. Again, notice it's not too awfully strong at all. 1,000 millibars in pressure of low pressure, that's basically nothing. I mean, it's strong, but it's not really that powerful. But that just goes to show you that it doesn't have to be that powerful in order to produce that much precip. I mean, this thing has been loaded with very heavy wet snow, lots of rain. I know across certain locations across the upper Midwest, there was a little bit less snow than expected. Across my area in Chicago, the official measurement was 3.1, but let me tell you, at around 2 o'clock in the morning, 1 o'clock in the morning, I was still awake. I went out to measure. It was 6-7 inches out here. It then dropped to around 3 inches when it melted. But the National Weather Service decided to measure it at 3.1, inaccurate measurement at the very least. But so it overproduced across Michigan, southern Michigan, Indiana, Illinois, and then it underproduced across parts of Minnesota, Wisconsin. That's what you're going to get with this snowstorm. And notice this storm passes through into the Northeast, gets a little bit of snow, quite a bit of snow in some locations, maybe up to half a foot in upper elevations. We get, again, quite a bit of lake effect going on after this. You could see some lake effect snow showers. In some locations it could be heavy, maybe a little bit underrepresented by the models, as the winds will be very strong. The lakes have record low ice cover as due to the warm, mild December. So lake effect will be going strong. Notice then that if we were to look at I guess Tuesday time frame, Monday still looks pretty dry. I mean, come on, this is as pretty and as perfect as you could get a map. Look, basically nothing. Northwest, a little bit of light rain, some snow showers across Iowa. That's about it. This first couple of opening days to the week, MLK, Martin Luther King Jr., will be a fantastic day for parades, for celebrations, rightly so, as, you could see the weather will be just really, really pleasant this year. And being in January 21st, 20th, around that time frame, it is really, really tough to see, nice weather. I mean, it's tough to predict it this time. It's perfect. It's right after a big storm. The high pressure takes in control, and it is perfectly fine. We start getting disturbances across late Tuesday day across the west. You could see some snow, some rain. It gets a little active. Across the east, nothing. We get a little bit of cold air, quite a bit actually getting into the southern U.S. If we were to look at that 2 meter temperature anomalies, you can see it's about below average, especially across the southeast. So that could be a pleasant relief if you've been seeing warm temperatures. Though really the warm temperatures that you've been seeing haven't been brutally hot. They've just been brutally hot for winter. 60s and 70s. If you want colder air, you're gonna get it this time with that cold blast of air. Notice we see that very same system that moves from that western system across the west. Obviously, it lands into the western coast out of the Pacific. It moves through the mountains into Colorado, and then it intensifies. So the GFS has been having a weird relationship with it. Notice it puts out a nice band of scattered rain, scattered snow showers across late Thursday. Then into Friday, it develops a stronger system. You can see some heavier snow into Iowa, into Kansas, Nebraska. Then it intensifies furthermore across the plains into the Midwest, but weakens across the Northeast. Though it's not that big of a system according to the GFS, it still drops a little bit of snow. And notice that takes us through the weekend. You can see the snowfall amounts from the GFS aren't really that high. Across the mountains are pretty, I guess, pretty large, but then across Iowa, Wisconsin, Nebraska, Kansas, we could see a little bit of snow. Again, this will still change, and I have a feeling that the European has a better handle on this, but it might just have too aggressive a handle on it. Let's look at the European surface and precipitation type and rate, and let's take a look at this. So again, let's take a summary of the storm that just happened. Again, the storm that just happened, we can't really look at it and see and say which model was more right, as both models were basically on the same page as GFS and European, which made this storm relatively easy to forecast. And I'm not saying that, you know, it was 100% accurate. I'm just comparing it to a nightmare system like we had 2 weeks ago on what was that, like the 10th, 11th? I mean, that thing was a nightmare. That was just ridiculous. Seriously, the forecast compared to the actual outcome was just the lowest it's ever been, possibly, and this time around it was much higher. And this upcoming system looks like it may be more of a nightmarish system as well. I mean, the European and GFS aren't agreeing at all, really. They're disagreeing on the tracks, and that's because of the formation of the storm and how it looks. So notice, very dry weather again. European sticks with the same, I guess, scenario as what the GFS has, until it brings in a good dose of precip into the west, into Oregon, Seattle, why do I keep saying it? Oregon, Washington, California, Nevada, Idaho. And that, again, moisture kind of gets dissolved through the mountains, gets a little bit of help from the Gulf of Mexico, and this resurges into the Midwest. You can see Thursday. Now this is Thursday morning. You can see there's already a nice light snow across a good portion of the country. Some lighter snow, some heavier rain with this one could be occurring across the southern U.S. Almost two different low pressures. One tries taking up to the north. According to this model of the European, this run, it doesn't really do much. This southern one really just intensifies. And notice, look at it. It has a lot of precip to the south. This one might be a big rainmaker. This one that just passed was a decent rainmaker. It wasn't record-breaking. I mean, it was pretty big considering the fact that we just had the week prior to that ridiculous amounts of rain. We'll see what this one does, but notice it puts out quite a bit of snow across the Illinois, Iowa, Wisconsin area, and you can see that, again, puts out quite a bit of heavy snow. This thing wraps itself up, and that's why it makes it so hard to predict, as this thing is just ridiculously hard to, these type of storms are really hard to predict, as when an intensifying low pressure is intensifying, what it does is unpredictable, basically, and you can see that that's why the models are disagreeing. You can see it basically tries intensifying, it kind of dissipates, and another low pressure takes place, and then this one goes across the northeast, and that's all the European has for us. Let's look at the total snowfall amounts now. You know, the snowfall amounts from this one may be actually pretty significant if the European were to be right, more than what the GFS is showing. So we'll have to keep an eye on for it, but at this point it seems like, yeah, they're looking fairly, I guess, significant for the European, less significant for the GFS, and just a lot of differences. So let's take a look at this. Notice it's like that first wave, we get a little bit of light snow across the country, Midwest, kind of from that low pressure that tries developing in the north. You can see some locations getting more snow, up to 6 inches across Wisconsin, a little bit lesser across the south. Then the storm re-intensifies from the southern U.S., and really just notice how it puts out a lot of snow, way more than from this one, a foot and a half. Not a foot and a half, half a foot to a foot, and you can see 10, 11, 8 inches is widespread. Then it moves into the northeast, which additionally drops, brings us snowfall totals from this week's storm and next week's storms to 20, 15, 17 inches, which, let's just take a location like right there, 5 inches, and let's move it through this storm. and you can see it's close to 16, so about 11 inches of snow fell, a foot of snow. Could this be a coastal storm? Very much so. You know, the track could be definitely shifted around quite a bit, and the potential for this storm is definitely there. I could show you the Canadian model as well. Let's look at the Canadian model. This is actually the first time I'm looking at it. To be fair with you, it wasn't loading early on in the day, and I was trying to look at it. As usually when I wake up, I look at the models first thing right off the bat. That's just what I do. I became into a habit of doing that. Again, very agreeing. A little bit of light snow across Iowa. Very nice calm weather. We get a little resurgence of moisture from the south. It'll be almost 2 waves, one to the northwest and one to the southern California, according to the Canadian. And this system moves into the Midwest. And look, it has that light snow, more of what the European does in a GFS, just further off to the west. And notice that it puts out a nice band of snow across Missouri, Iowa, and this moves off into the northeast, and we'll have to just see what it does. But with the Canadian, you can see it puts out quite a bit of snow. May this be a little bit over exaggerated? Possibly, but this would be some pretty significant snow out of this. You can see 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 inches of snow, and possibly moving on to the northeast with some significant snow as well. We'll see. At this point, it seems that the European and Canadian have a better handle, just off the fact that there's 2 of them versus 1 GFS. But, you know, that's not really a good indicator. And at this point, it's just too far to tell which one is going to be right. Though, again, I'm leaning with the European. We'll just have to see for the next couple of days which one, how they move, all of them. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Consider liking this video. Consider subscribing to this channel. I'll catch you all guys on the next episode. See ya. Bye.